So, unlike me, I don't vote party, but I vote people's personality. So, whosoever that wants to come in, maybe as a PDP, and if he believes that it will not fail Nigerians, he can come in. There's no problem about that. And what the masses need is for them to give us a good result.
We've given APC 8 years, and for me as a youth, there is nothing tangible that they've done. So let's try PDP. Or if possible, let's try any other party who can actually spring up with someone new. Let's try up new things. For me personally, I would say let's try up new things because we are tired of these old men we've been seeing since 1999. So let's try up new guys.
To me, I believe in God choosing president for us. It is only who God choose that can develop this country, not has anything to do with that PDP or APC. Even in another party, let the person be God choosing candidate. I think that is the best thing for us in this country.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Reading is an essential habit and a culture that must be developed. Nigerians are generally believed to have a poor reading culture. The role of government in promoting reading and equipping reading spaces and libraries in Nigeria cannot be underestimated. But first, we must look at the development of reading habits from the home and the role parents play in encouraging their children.
My mom used to be a teacher, so reading was obviously part of a curriculum. And then my father used to be a professor and is an author. So I started reading very, very early, and I started reading books that were higher than my age grade. I was reading African writer series from age 7, age 8, and reading encyclopedias by that time. So obviously my parents had a huge part and encouraged that in me.
In the Nigerian book market, there's a high influx of foreign authors writing for children, but very few Nigerian authors telling relatable, homegrown Nigerian stories.
If you start out reading stories even to your baby, even before they're 1, and then as they get older, buy appropriate materials that are colorful, with easy to read words, and read with them. I think that helps.
Adedotun, a co-founder of Robin Heights, a leading bookstore in Nigeria, has tips for Nigerian authors and how they can improve on their work and get into the hearts of readers.
The story has to be good, right? If you're writing, whatever you're writing, if you're writing fiction, if you're writing non-fiction, it has to be like, really, really compelling, one. Next thing would be like in terms of like the packaging, right? People have gone past the era where you just take your books to just about any printer to print for you. I think, publishers, self-published authors as well, they need to invest in like, ensuring that the quality of the book, the final output is one that would, stack up with any book, published, elsewhere in the world. So that's really important. Then I think, what would be like the most important tip for me to them would be just, they need to invest in marketing.
The book business, like any other business, is challenging.
If you ask anyone who's running the business in Nigeria, they will tell you capital, of course, right? Book selling is also, as with any other business, is also quite capital intensive. Like, getting to pay your rent, getting to actually buy the books and stock up like your shelves when you have them. Hiring good people requires like decent amount of capital. So I would say it's getting the startup funds to set up something, and then if you're looking to do it at scale like we're hoping to do, then it also requires you like raising funding, which isn't readily available in commercial banks, right? I don't think a bank would say they want to give you a loan to set up a bookstore. They probably will be skeptical about the number of people who read. So for us, I think it's just I would say capital is at the top of a totem pole.
It is commendable that certain individuals and organizations are making concerted efforts to revive the reading culture in the country. The government should also redesign the school curriculum to incorporate more reading activities in primary and secondary schools.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a
Good evening, I am Destiny Momo and this is the news update. The Hilton Hotel owner, Dr. Raymond Adedoyin, and 6 of his staffers arraigned in connection with the death of late Timothy Adegoke, a master's student at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, have a case to answer. Adedoyin and 6 of his staffers were arraigned on 11 counts, bartering and conspiracy, murder, altering of receipt and administration of the extrajudicial oath. Ruling on the no-case submission filed by the defendant, the Osun Chief Judge said that going by the evidence already before the court, the defendants have a case to answer and called on them to enter their defense. She subsequently adjourned the matter till April 25 for the defense to open their case. And the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, has disclosed that he had forewarned about possible attacks on the rail line and tracks. According to him, he had requested for necessary digital security and crime prevention equipment that could forestall such a disaster, but was not approved. He said that if that equipment was on the ground, nobody will be seen on that track. Meanwhile, the federal government has condemned the attack on its citizens. It says it will continue to support victims of Abuja-Kaduna train attack and ensure that services are hindered. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo gave the assurance as he flew in.
Cut short his earlier engagement in Lagos to visit the site of the attack, said the government was doing everything possible to end insurgency. In company of the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, the vice president proceeded to see victims of the attack at 44 Army Reference Hospital and St. Gerald Hospital.
It is evident that there is no, it's not as if there's any real benefit, even for that. So we remain resolute in our commitment to ensuring that these sorts of things are prevented and that as quickly as possible services are restored and that the type of safety measures that are required are put in place. We've been round to see some of the victims of a very tragic incident, but and many of them, of course, are recovering very well. And we're very happy to see that the state government has taken on the responsibility of medical assistance to them and ensuring that they're comfortable and that they're well. And the federal government will support in every possible way to ensure that these people who just, innocent people just traveling from Kaduna to Abuja, just doing their regular business, are assaulted in a cowardly way in the dead of night, late at night. I think it's condemnable, and we must all condemn it and resolve to ensure that these sorts of things will not happen again.
The Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Lucky Irabo, and the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali, also visited the scene of the deadly attack.
This is dastardly acts, and I'd like to assure you that those behind it will not go unpunished. Currently, the men are on their chase, and they will certainly pay the price.
Meanwhile, the figure of those kidnapped is still sketchy, as family members of those on board the train besieged the station in a search.
It's a very tragic situation now. I'm not the only one here. If you check around, you can see that there are a lot of people waiting for maybe they'll be able to get any relevant information concerning the incident. And up to now.
And so far, there is no information from the train manager.
They are not giving us any information. That is the issue. They are not talking to us. They are keeping all their this thing to themselves.
The Senate has called on the Army and Air Force to, as a matter of urgency, bombard terrorist enclaves with a view to restoring peace and stability in the country. The senators called on President Muhammadu Buhari to declare a full-scale war against terrorists so as to secure Nigeria's territory. This informed part of resolutions reached following a motion sponsored by Senator Uba Sani. He drew the attention of the Senate to the bandits' attack on a Kaduna-bound train and in some other parts of the state.
It has been a reign of undiluted terror. Note that these latest attacks are aimed at instilling fear in the people and destroying the economies of our local communities. It is disheartening that these enemies of the people are getting emboldened by the day. They are becoming more brazen. These blood-curdling bonfires have no regard for human life. They have no place in civilized.
A cross-section of lawmakers who lamented that Kaduna had become the new theater of insecurity concluded that terrorists have declared war against Nigerians, and it is time for Nigeria to declare war against the terrorists.
It is safe and right, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to conclude that terrorists have declared war against Nigeria, and I think it is time for Nigeria to declare war against these terrorists. Mr. President, we shouldn't allow this situation to continue, where we lay back, they come to attack, then we repel, we try to do damage control and the like. I think it is time for these terrorists to be seriously taken as a national security threat.
Mr. President, since we're inaugurated here, discussions on the security of our country has taken a large chunk of our discussion here. And I believe and feel that it is time enough for the appropriate authorities to have taken decisive actions to address the security in our country.
In Kaduna in person, the Kaduna town and Kaduna state as a whole, no day they don't kill over 300 in a day. Every blessed day, no day that they don't kill souls, more than 300.
And as the general elections inch close, Nigerians express their opinions on their expectation from a political party and if they can deliver the dividends of democracy. And that's on our street views. Take a listen.
Some other party should take over because PDP has been ruling for a very long time. APC has also been ruling for a very long time. And let me just say, they are all based on the same feather. So they should give opportunity to other party to rule.
It's not about political party. It's where do we get a good leader? That's our problem. So we don't care about whether PDP or APC. If you look at the attitude of our politicians, you could see somebody from APC would come to PDP because of his own interest. You will see somebody from APC would come to PDP because of his own interest. So our problem is not about the political party, it's about leadership. Anywhere good leader come, it is welcome.
Please, APC, leave us alone. Please, I'm begging you people, leave us alone. Please, not by force. So. They are the same people now, from this party to this party. Let just the youth or young somebody take over. Let all these old men leave us alone. Look at how we are stressing ourselves, suffering. On this hot sun, every day by day. They should leave us alone. Leave us alone. I have my PVC already, Sha. I know what to do with it.
I don't think the party matters. What matters is the person in particular. I don't care about the party. I care about the person itself.
Today, PDP, tomorrow, APC. Me, I don't like all this kind of voila. You don't want to suffer for Nigeria. So we need another people may come.
This one will tell you this one. This one will tell you that when they are campaigning, they will promise you so things. They are going to make good, bring good school, food, good road, all this one. Nothing is working in this country.
I think we should try another political party. Maybe we will see difference.
These two parties, they are the same group of people. It's recycling. You understand? They keep coming up. If you do them bad in this party, they will come to the other party. It's the same person. So we need fresh people entirely so that we'll be able to get it, see whether we can get it right.
And I'm moving on to other parts of Africa. The Congolese army, FARC, says a UN mission helicopter with 8 peacekeepers on board has been shot down in the middle of a mission to access population movement in North Kivu. The incident comes as clashes between the M23 and the Congolese army continue after attacks on Sunday against positions in Shanzu and Ruyoni in Rushuru territory. The heavy fighting was reported to have left some Congolese soldiers injured and forced dozens of locals to flee. And these new clashes between the Congolese army and the M23 rebels have caused massive new displacement of the population. From news outside Africa, Israeli forces have raided a Palestinian village in the occupied West Bank a day after a shooter from the village killed 5 in central Israel. The National Ambulance Service said the gunman killed at least 5 people in a Tel Aviv suburb before he was fatally shot in the 3rd deadly attack in Israel in a week. The shooting raised to 11 the number of people killed by Arab gunmen in Israel over the past week, the sharpest spike in attacks on city streets in years. Meanwhile, people in the city of Bnei Brak have lit candles and expressed shock over the killings. And now it's time for business news. The World Bank says poverty reduction stagnated since 2015, with more Nigerians falling below the poverty line over the years. It said these in its report titled A Better Future for All Nigerians 2022 Nigerian Poverty Assessment. According to the Washington-based bank, about 90 million Nigerians are expected to be poor this year. However, due to the pandemic, the figures are projected to hit 95.1 million in 2022. The report further revealed that the COVID-19 pandemic pushed over 5 million more Nigerians into poverty this year. And now in entertainment news, Walt Disney's streaming platform, Disney Plus, has confirmed the official launch date in South Africa, its foray into Africa and other world territories. According to reports, the streamer is set to launch in SA on May 18th, I beg your pardon, and other countries including Turkey, Poland, Hungary, Israel, and the Middle East will launch between June 8 and 16. South African subscribers will have access to hit Disney films, including the new Marvel Studio series Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Disney's latest entry marks a new addition to the SA market, which already boasts of streaming platforms like Netflix and Showmax. And still on the World Cup qualifier and sports news, the doping doctor for the Confederation of African Football, doping doctor Dr. Joseph Kabungo, has died. Kabungo, a Zambian medical practitioner, died shortly after the World Cup qualifiers between Ghana and Nigeria on Tuesday. Report says Kabungo died as a result of the stampede that occurred at the stadium. It was also reported that the doctor suffered a cardiac arrest. Neither officials of the Nigerian Football Federation nor CAF have confirmed the cause of the doctor's death. And still on sports news, the symbolism could not be greater as Mo Salah missed the first penalty of the shootout, while Sadio Mane scored the last one and offered the qualification to his team. Senegal will therefore go to Qatar to play in the 2022 World Cup, while their rival Egypt remains at the dock. However, in the first leg, Egypt had taken the lead 1-0, reacting to the defeat. The Egyptian head coach Carlos Queiroz said the dream is over, and Senegal now joins Ghana, Morocco, Cameroon, and Tunisia for the FIFA World Cup to be held in November and December 2022 in Qatar. And that's the news update. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTvAfrica on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I am Destiny Momo. Thanks for watching.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Financial literacy is an essential skill for the 21st century. The principles of debt management, profitable savings techniques, and the importance of money have helped many. In 2011, the Central Bank of Nigeria made a commitment to reduce the number of financially excluded Nigerians from 46.3% in 2010 to 20% by 2020. Many fintech startups are plugging into this gap and targeting niche markets. One of such startups is Harvest. Harvest was founded by Sholape Akimpelu, who once worked at a marketing agency. Her dream is to help women in Africa take control of their finances by bridging the economic gender gap. She believes more women need to be intentional by improving their financial well-being.
Okay, so Harvest simply is an inclusive finance for African women. So we give women familiar access to savings, impact investments, and credit. So when we say impact investment, that is women impact investing into smallholder female farmers specifically. So that way yourself, right, we equip you with personal finance, insight, tools, platforms, right, to embrace savings, embrace financial wholeness, wellness, right, and then we don't limit it to you alone. We believe that the woman breaking her back in some far-flung village in Zaria, for instance, should get access to financial services too, because that's the only way we can prime her, her family, her community for better livelihood. So we extend our credit to, we extend our personal finance, considering the digital divide in language base. So that way you've equipped her and then she can participate in savings. And then, do you understand? So you're not managing poverty here for women, right? We are giving them a platform, tools, insights that gets them swim upwards in the economy.
Before launching Harvest, Sholape noticed a worrying trend that financial institutions were not targeting Nigerian women. Sholape teaches girls and women financial literacy through access to and use of financial services through knowledge.
On my marketing days, oh, we want to do this campaign. Let's look at the demographics. Male, female, female, male. Let's look at the top so clients, male, female. And I was wondering, because everywhere around me, I could see women breaking their backs, right? From the woman in the urban areas to the rural dwellers. And I was wondering what's happening. Why are they not adopting financial services so much? Why are they not, why are they on the fringes, right? So it was just important. And I've always been very impact driven. So it was just important that, you know, because I started doing a lot of research. So I realized that a lot of research had been done. So people were doing research and dropping, oh, this is the number. Oh, Nigeria is the only West African country on the priority list of financial exclusion, right? That is for gender, right? Ghana was there before, Ghana moved on. Then we are there with India, Bangladesh, and all of that. And we're wondering, why is Nigeria still here? So someone just had to do something, not just tell the story, not just state the numbers, not just quote the numbers or statistics, but do something to shrink that gender gap.
Each startup has its challenges.
First, you know, poor state of infrastructure. So by infrastructure, talking about digital and physical infrastructures. Talents too, right? We're losing a lot of talents to the West. It's painful when you look at it, because we have amazing, like a wide, you know, capacity as a country, you know, raising talent, but then we lose the same talents in the same breath. But I'll say that tech is a great leveler. Funding is the biggest challenge. So, you know, I'm sure that a lot of people would say, oh, well, that's about a major challenge for most businesses. So, but I think it's twice hard for me personally as a female founder and a first-time founder, right? A lot of doors are just, you know, shut when it comes to funding, but we believe that with the right stakeholders, with government, individual investors and all of that, we'll be able to crack the funding code. But it's been really hard funding the business. That is, you know, funding the women, funding the business itself, building structures, building the infrastructures that we need to power the business. It's been so hard, quite tough.
Shalape's goal in the next 5 years is to empower women in the Nigerian market. It's obvious that tech is hard, but with the right amount of resilience, women can achieve anything.
Okay, so I'll just quickly add to that, our goal is that in the next 5 years, base case, right, would have served 500,000 women. So when it's 500,000 women, we're looking at 350,000 women on the supply side of a business and 150,000 smallholder female farmers. And we believe that that number is possible because our addressable market is 57 million working women in Nigeria alone. Right, and that's just looking at the Nigerian market. But when we look at the other markets we're looking at, for instance, we're looking at, other African markets by next year. So it's possible, and this will be measured, and we'll be sharing with the public, our impact and its measurements. So I'll just say for upcoming techpreneurs, I keep telling them, I said, let no one tell an African woman that it can't be done. Let nobody look at an African girl and say, no, you can't do it. You're an African girl. Come on. The customs, everything is, tilted against you. Kick them right in the middle, right? Put a fist right in its face, because we grew up, a lot of us grew up resilient, right? We had to clear away the thorns and make way for ourselves. So it's hard. It's double hard. So tech is hard, right? It looks glam out there, but it's really hard, trust me. Because I say, especially the infrastructure, you're working with a string of codes. That's why I tell people, right? Something can break somewhere. It works now, then we all drive cars. A car takes you somewhere, and then you want to go home. It isn't working again, and you're wondering what happened. So much more string of codes from one point to another. Something is not returning, and you have to fix it. So you just have to also immerse yourself in the problem. It's important to walk in the shoes of whatever problem you want to solve. It's very, very key. I would say secondly, you just have to, the starter pack, you have to come in very, very resilient. So many days. There are some days I still wake up and feel like, where do I draw the line here? So many days, you have that feeling, but you've got to keep going on. And then, thirdly, I would say that it's possible that you get to places where it looks as if, you're not wanted at the table. It's okay, but it's fine to create your own table, right? And but whatever you do, be less concerned about the glam, be less concerned about the glitz, but be more concerned about the problem you're solving for. Be driven, be mission driven, be impact driven, and the rest, will come with it.
Nigerian women are believed to care more for their parents, and as such are in the best position to.
And then you become dependent on another